This is Feed Your Mind. So I came across this interesting experiment and I keep hearing about it. So over the course of several years, this topic keeps coming up randomly from several different sources, at least maybe a couple dozen times. This has came up from different sources randomly. When I'm not expecting it, it just kind of pops up and people just discuss it. So there must be something to it. This is an experiment. I believe they're calling the split experiment. So I haven't looked deeply into it on my own, but like I said, I just keep hearing about it to the point where I'll probably start looking more into it, because I just heard it described in a way that kind of informed me that this might be something to look into. Because look, what they're saying is when you put your attention on something, when you focus on something and look at something, it will behave differently than if you don't look at it. So when I first heard that, I'm like, yeah, right. That doesn't really sound believable, really, because in this physical world, you just think it's here and everything here is real. And, like that type of concept just doesn't really seem super believable to me. But now I've heard it broken down in a different way to where I'm starting to give it more credibility. So I believe these scientists are saying that they conducted this experiment and that it might actually be proven. So look, they're saying they studied these particles and they turned from like wave particles to like solid matter or something. I don't know exactly how the experiment goes, but somehow they observed these particles and how they behave versus when you're looking at them, and somehow they were able to conduct the study and see how they behave when you're not looking at them. And they're saying they actually changed form. And so that's very interesting, I thought, because the way I heard it recently, they're basically saying that this proves what we've been talking about with manifestation and stuff like that, visualization, where if you focus on something, you can make it real in your real life. Now, that part I know is real because I've experienced it a lot of times. Like, for example, if you think about a song and then you hear the song playing on the radio or something, wouldn't that be kind of more than a coincidence? It would seem like, something like that. Or if you just think about somebody and then they call you. I know with technology now, it's different with ads now. It's like you talk about something in your personal life and then the ad shows up. Now, we know that's something to where our phones are listening to us and making that happen. But with other things, it seems more random and strange when things like that happen. So it's almost kind of proving this experiment might have something to it, where focus on something, you can possibly get it in your real life. So when it comes to manifestation, I mean, people say, well, I've made a few videos now and they're saying things like, it's not going to just drop in your lap. They're saying, well, that's probably true sometimes and sometimes not, I would say, because sometimes you can manifest something or focus on something or intentionally try to manifest something and it might just kind of appear in your life. It could happen like that. It also does involve sometimes inspiration. Maybe if you focus on something, you're inspired to look more into something, or you're inspired to do something or act. Sometimes it takes action where you might want to manifest something and then you have this idea pop in your head maybe a day or two later, and maybe that idea wouldn't have popped in your head if you weren't focusing on what you wanted. So then that might lead you to do things that will possibly lead to what you're trying to manifest. So things like manifestation can happen in all types of ways. I had a live about it. We talked about how, God is involved in the scenario too. You don't want to definitely just think you're doing things on your own, but also what are we? Because with this world, what is this world and what are people and what is everything? Is everything kind of connected to God is a question. So, I think so. I think so, because really when it comes down to it, there's a question you can ask yourself, and that is, when you break down everything, in the beginning was God, and that's all there was. So when it comes down to it, is everything still made of this moment of creation, this moment of now. So does everything kind of have this connection to the original source in a way? So what really is everything? So if it was just God and nobody else was around, just him, we definitely know all things are created by him for sure. But really, when it comes down to what is creation, what is physical reality, is it possible that all things are not only made by him, but of him, out of him, you know, in a way? So yeah, when it comes to this particle physics thing, I mean, like I said, I'll look more into it, but it definitely is starting to make a little more sense now that I'm considering that what you focus on can actually materialize. And so with this split experiment, it's like, it's kind of confirming that in a way, where if you focus on something and you put all of your energy towards something that's in your mind, even, can you make that thing materialize into your real life? You know, maybe that's a clue about how things work. Now, yeah, so like I said, reality, I think, is much more mysterious than we've been led to believe. I definitely think there's a lot more going on in this even physical world than what we would even imagine, especially with this experiment. It really makes you consider what this world really is at that point. If you can focus on something and have it materialize however it comes, you know, whether you're inspired to do things that will lead to your materialization or whether it just drops in your lap. I think both can be true, you know. So I just think that what they're saying is, when you focus on something, believe in the end result and don't really concern too much about how you're going to get it. Just believe it. Believe that you have it. And belief is a very powerful tool. So you have to believe you already have what you desired, and don't let anyone convince you otherwise. And then don't really even waste too much time trying to figure out how you're going to get it, is what I've heard before. And just kind of, you know, just live your life as if you have what you want, and then it will happen. Like I said, you might be inspired to do things, or it might just drop in your lap. But either way, when it comes to visualization, there is something where people talk about vision boards, and that always sounded real weird, because I'm like, okay, that sounds like Ouija board or something. So it's kind of like not into something like that. But really what they're saying is just something that where you can visually see something in front of you and make sense out of it. So I took that as, okay, so I can pretty much just get a notebook and kind of map out what I want, and your ideas will kind of flow from you from there sometimes. So I just recently finally did that, where I kind of got a notebook. And if your goal is a little more ambitious than your other goals, you might want to kind of map out some things, even though they're saying don't worry too much about how you're going to get it. At the same time, it's not going to hurt to visualize the steps you might want to take to obtain something and map it out. And as I did it, things were coming to me because it was a clearer picture. I could really see what I'm trying to manifest clearer when I broke it down into different pages and specifics, and each page has a specific thing and steps to take to obtain the overall goal. So yeah, I mean, I can see how that could work, where you can see even a clearer picture than before after doing that, and really get your thoughts together on what you're trying to accomplish. So yeah, I thought this split experiment idea was pretty interesting. So I don't know, it really kind of is inspiring to understand that this could actually be a proven scientific study that would really verify a lot of the things we've been talking about when it comes to manifesting and stuff like that. So I'm going to leave a link to my other videos on this topic. The playlist is called Path to Success. Also, I'll probably leave my playlist about reality is not what you were told. So you check that out. And I'm going to also leave some links to my other channels, my social media, my Feed Your Mind store, my free email newsletters, and much more. If you would like to support this channel, please donate as little as $1 become a member or a patron, please, and try to contribute at least $1 a month to really help this channel stay online and keep going. I appreciate your help. So thanks for tuning in. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Signing off.